Welcome back to the second episode of Big League Podcast. I'm your host, Matt Joyce, and today we have with us one of the most prominent home run hitters in the game right now, a three-time All-Star, 2019 Rookie of the Year, and multiple-time home run derby champ, the man they call the Polar Bear, Mr. Pete Alonso. Welcome to the Big League Podcast, buddy.
Thank you. You sound like a professional media member now.
Thank you. I've been testing it out and in training. I've been in training.
Love that.
So last year I've done a lot of broadcasting for the Rays, for Apple TV, and just like anything, man, you got to get used to it.
Yeah.
So we've been texting a little bit back and forth. You said you were hunting recently.
Yeah. I was in West Texas with a teammate of mine. So Brooks Raley set everything up, and he invited me. Sick place in West Texas, High West Outfitters. It was really an amazing experience. We were in the West Texas mountains, and we were in the high desert, and it was beautiful, gorgeous country.
You weren't hunting polar bears or anything, right?
Oh no, that I would pay a hefty fine if I.
Pretty sure that might be illegal.
Yes.
Did you get anything?
Yeah, got a nice mule deer and got a really nice aoudad.
So I gotta know where does that come from? The polar bear. Where did that?
So it just came from Todd Frazier.
Frage.
Yeah, T. Frage. Yeah, T. Frage. Yeah, big tuna. He was talking. Todd. He's very boisterous. He's one of those very talkative guys in the clubhouse, and he just said it one day. Like, spring training, super tight quarters. Like, you really don't have any space because there's 70 guys in the locker room, and we're both kind of like in each other's space. He's like, "Get out of my way, you big damn polar bear!" And it's like, and it just stuck. People, just kept calling it
Ricky season.
Yeah, so like I wasn't a 40-man guy at the time. I was just this was like a huge opportunity for me, and I was really, really blessed because not only was I next to Todd, I was next to Robbie Cano as well. So like those two guys were super awesome, not just in camp, but throughout my career that we were teammates. I mean, those guys really took me underneath their wing and helped me out definitely a ton at the beginning.
Yeah. I talked with Robbie Cano a couple times. Hitting, dude, he's a beast. He's
Yeah.
awesome to talk to about hitting.
Yeah.
He knows his stuff. And,
Yeah.
And Frage had some pop too.
Yeah.
So both those guys are two solid guys. You got really lucky to be right next to those guys. So you're Tampa boy.
Yes.
Making Tampa proud. Love to see that.
Try to, absolutely.
Yeah, we've really enjoyed watching and rooting for you over the years. So in high school you went to Jesuit.
Yep.
Right? You started in Jesuit and then you went to Plant.
Yes.
So you transferred. What's the story there? Is there a reason you went to Plant or?
Yeah. Originally it started. So I wanted to take a few extra honors classes because I had decent grades. I didn't have straight A's by any means, but I was definitely like a 3.5 guy. Had A's and B's.
Yeah.
And some of the schools at the time I really wanted to go to were UNC and Stanford, and in order for me to be seriously recruited, so they needed to know that the admissions office would take me seriously or take my transcript seriously, where it's like, hey, course load and difficulty needs to be higher. So it's like, okay, I want to take a few honors classes. I'm a really, really good writer, and so history and English or literature, those are my strong suits. So I wanted to take honors classes in those. They wouldn't let me. When I'm like, okay, this is kind of a lot, and then I just feel like that I needed to change, so I could show that the schools I wanted to go to, I was on paper looked harder, so they could actually recruit me. So I went to Plant. I took all honors classes, and then I added 3 AP classes, which was awesome because I passed those exams. And I took 4 more classes, 4 more AP classes my senior year, and I passed those exams, and I got basically my first half of school of college done. So if you pass those AP classes, then you don't have to take certain 101 entry classes in college. So I was super stoked about that when I went to Florida, but and that's where I ended up. So it's ended up helping me regardless of where I ended up.
A ball player that cared about his academics, which hard to see nowadays,
Well, yeah, also too, if you don't have good grades, scouts aren't going to really take you seriously or look at you. It's like, well, if he doesn't have good grades or if he doesn't take his business seriously in the classroom, what makes me think he takes himself seriously on the diamond? So for all the kids listening out there, guys, like better grades you get, the more opportunities you give yourself to go to college. Not everyone can get drafted straight out of high school. A lot of guys have to go the college route. So for all you youngsters out there listening, or even guys in high school, middle school, yeah, grades do matter, and you can really give yourself a nice platform to get into professional baseball by giving yourself the opportunity to go to college and play.
I mean, and you saw a lot of those guys that would sign at a high school,
right?
And they go play GCL and these tough leagues where, I mean, obviously a lot of Latin players would go play and stuff like that, and they almost miss out on that experience, not only at college, but like the lessons and education.
Yeah.
And it's not right, like if you sign at a high school, you get that far ahead. You know what I mean? Unless you're an absolute superstar.
Right, but it's not just the baseball stuff. It's like you got to be a grown man at 18 years old. Right. For me, like I felt like I could have definitely done well. I mean, I had a really good college career, but there's a lot of like maturation that happened where it's like learning how to live with somebody, like just learning responsibilities, learning how to manage time with like learning how to pump out a 15-page research paper on the French Revolution and then go face a first rounder that night. So you have to learn how to balance certain things, and it'll
mature you.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Brains and brawn.
Have to.
I love it. A little unexpected. And so you ended up signing with Florida, University of Florida, right? Signed a scholarship, I'm assuming. Was it a baseball scholarship, or did you kind of have?
So I had bright futures, but then and then college and the difficulty of the baseball schedule, like you're up at like 5 a.m. working out at 6, and then you're trying to hammer out 3 or 4 classes a day, and then by 2 o'clock you're supposed to be at the field getting ready for 4 o'clock practice, and then by the time you're done, it's 8 o'clock. Then you got to go to tutoring. By the time you're done tutoring, you have homework, and before you know it's midnight. Then you got to wake up at like 5:45, 6 o'clock again. So
I know the routine. We did the same thing. We were up early running at like 6 a.m. And there was a couple of 8 a.m. classes I missed because I was like, art and architecture, I don't know if I'm going to need that one. I'm going to sleep in here. So that's awesome, man. You guys crushed it in college. You went to 2 World Series.
Yeah.
And what was that like? Because I was in Division II. We ended up going to the World Series, and it was a great experience. But Division I, it just takes it to such another level because you have so many people that come out to these games.
So I think going to the World Series has really prepared me for the College World Series is exactly what a big league game is like. I mean, everyone's full. Like there's like this white noise from the fans. Like when nothing's there's just this energy and buzz.
Is sick.
Yeah, and you're just really not used to that. I mean, playing in the SEC was sick because you get 12,000 at Ole Miss and doing the beer shower, and then now, I mean, LSU, super hostile environment. South Carolina, super hostile environment. Like everywhere you go, there's 10,000 people a weekend, and then they're on you. And that kind of, there's like little baby steps that help get you to be able to perform at a high level for a long period of time. And all those places, you're in a pressure cooker, and it's like it makes you grow up real quick.
It's not about your physical ability, but how strong your mind is when you hit that environment, when you get on the field.
100%.
If you're not mentally strong as an athlete, I mean,
right,
you're going to have a long game going, don't hit that ball to me because these boys are, this crowd is on me or whatever. That's what we don't want these students to have, right? Like that's where you get discipline, work on your craft, and you fix your mind early on so you can overcome it.
100%. And also you rely on your good habits in your training and off the field. Like if you're disciplined and really trust in your own ability, trust the work you put in, you can use that to your advantage in those high pressure situations. But I'll tell you what, like playing in Omaha, that's some of the best baseball memories, like especially for what it takes to get through the gauntlet of the schedule, and then once you winning in the playoffs, and then that's the epitome of college baseball. And that's what, like, growing up, like watching the old games at Rosenblatt and seeing the beach balls bounce around the outfield, like that's like definitely a childhood dream to play there.
Dream.
Yeah, it's sick. I felt like, I mean, it's not the big leagues, but it's as close to the big leagues
as you're going to get until you get to the big leagues.
Correct.
Right? And it's almost like when you go into the minor leagues, a lot of times you're going to go backwards. Because,
yes,
you
that is correct.
Into the grind, the long season, you'll have 2,000 fans, depending on where you play.
Well, 2,000 would have been a hell of a night in the Florida State League.
Right. Florida State League. Yeah.
That's a firework night.
Right, exactly. So going back to UF, you played with Harrison Bader, who's going to be your teammate again.
Yes.
And he posted recently, you guys are Diesel Bros.
Yes.
What do you got? What's the story?
It's just funny because, like, Diesel was just like a fun, if something was cool, Diesel. Or if you hit that ball hard, hit it well, Diesel. If you hit a home run, Diesel. If you like like in the weight room, you put a bunch of weight and you hit like your personal best on a deadlift, Diesel. It's like if you do something like, I don't know, if you do something cool, Diesel.
Right.
Like that was just the word. And like that was kind of, and we were locker mates for 2 years, and he was one of my mentors. He hosted me on my official visit, and we ended up being locker mates my 2 years there, or my freshman sophomore year there. And yeah, we went through a lot together. We understand, like, we have that shared experience of like knowing what it takes to compete at a super high level in the SEC, and do what you got to do, like to hold yourself accountable, because if you play at University of Florida, you got to not only hold yourself accountable, like behavior-wise, but you got to show up and play and win. You can't just play well enough to have a personal great game, but you got to win. Right. So, I mean, he's such a good teammate. I absolutely loved having him, but like he's just a baller, just a baller.
Yeah, he's a gamer.
100%.
He's a gamer, dude. You could tell when you watch him, you play against him. He's a gamer.
And playing against him now for my big league career, it's like, God, like he's one of those guys that you just like. I know him because it's funny. I just laugh, but like for other people, it's like, oh man, like I can see where like some people, like if they don't know him, they could maybe not really care for him as much. Mm-hmm. But like if having that guy, he plays with heart, passion, and he just leaves it out there. Like he's such a great addition for us, and he's one of my favorite college teammates.
Yeah, and he played well. He had some big hits with the Yankees, man. That was fun to see.
Mm-hmm.
So going back to college, at what point did you realize you had a shot at being drafted?
So I went up to the Cape Cod League and hit 0 homers.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And I was just like, well, I had a ball in postseason. I think I hit from the SEC tournament all the way through like regional supers in Omaha. I think I finished the year like hitting like 350, like bunch of doubles. Yeah, it was sick. And then I just kind of like I don't know, I hit like this wall. I don't know if like
burnout.
I don't know. I just hit this wall and I just wasn't playing well at all. And then I didn't play well at all in the fall. Like I had a horrible scout day. I just like, it was just kind of like, whatever. But I didn't really, I knew I could get to the next level, but I really had to perform. I had to perform like outside of myself or outside of my own expectations. Like I knew I had to be extra special because like, hey, I'm a junior. Like I'm hitting either third or fourth today, and I need to go.
Yeah.
And
you don't put too much pressure on yourself, and you try to do too much.
Well, I don't know. I think I was too lackadaisical like that summer.
Okay. Summer catch. Jessica Biel got on you.
Well,
caught your eye.
Yeah, my wife. That's how I met my wife.
Oh, there it was. There it was.
But like, that was the best. That was the best and most excellent, life-changing like summer, like personally, because I mean I met my wife and like absolutely smitten, and we did long distance, and also that's another thing. It's like if we're gonna do this, and she is a part of this like baseball life, which is not easy, especially on significant others. Like we're gonna gonna commit to this. I gotta figure it out.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of it was probably was just like not necessarily understanding where my body was at mechanically, and I made a lot of swing adjustments that off season after fall. And
how much did the wood bat affect?
So the wood bat didn't really affect it. Because like we swung those BB core bats, and those BB core, I'd rather swing a wood bat. Those things were like swinging. I'd rather, I mean,
just a dead.
Yeah. It's like
we ruined it.
I think they've improved a little bit, but boy, it's tough to go to these high school games with kids without the strength and swinging these BB core bats, and it's like ding. It's like just ball goes nowhere.
Noodles.
They're like
they're noodles, dude. And then like so the summer before, I played in the Northwoods League. I was the most valuable player of the league. I think I hit 18 homers in like 50 games. I hit like, I don't know, like 360, like with like 65 stakes. I was doing it. So it's like I go one summer to absolutely doing it. And also I'm a huge fan of that league because you learn how to ride the bus.
Okay.
What I mean by that is like you got to learn how to play a game. Game's over at 10:30. Eat gas station food. Spend an overnight trip and get into the next town when it's 9 a.m. and then you got to be at the yard at 1 o'clock.
Minor leagues.
Yep. You got to learn how to be a minor leaguer in college. And I think that the structure of that league, it's very tough and taxing, but it teaches you a lot. This is how the minor leagues are. You're going to get shit food. You're going to have shit sleep. And you have to learn how to love the suck.
Yep.
You got to learn how to love all the difficult things.
Get comfortable being uncomfortable, as they say. You got to learn to. That's your life. You're going to be uncomfortable. Don't think it's going to get any better. Just learn to just deal with it, make it the norm, and perform. Get out there and perform.
Because you got guys coming from like I remember we had guys from SEC, ACC, like all Power 5 schools, but that's a league where. Like all the freshmen go, like typically all the draft guys go to the Cape, and then the younger guys, like one of those in between years, like if you're a freshman, like hey, just go get some games under your belt, or if a guy didn't throw as much, go get your innings in. There's a ton of talent there that always comes out of that league. Paul DeJong tore that league up, and that's one of the reasons why he got drafted. I mean, he's had a ton of success in the big leagues. He's been around, I think, for like 8 years now, 7, 8 years, which is he's had a really good career so far. But I mean, there's a lot of guys that come out of there and play there. You learn how to ride the bus.
Right. Yeah, I played in the NECBL. It's a great experience to go play wood and bat college ball for the first time, and you're away from home and you're continuing to play. But I always tell people the minor leagues is like the ultimate grind.
Yes.
Okay? You got 12, 13-hour bus rides. You're staying in crappy hotels. You got a roommate that snores. You know what I mean?
Oh, you guys only had one roommate?
Yeah, right.
Jerry, you remember sleeping with 5 guys in two bed? Oh,
yeah,
we've done that.
Yeah, so it's 2 guys per bed and 4 guys per room and one shower.
That's what you sign up for. It's a pipe dream. You're playing for the show.
Yes.
Trying to make it. So going back to when you got drafted, 64th pick by the Mets.
Yep.
So tell me about that experience. Like, where were you when you got the call? Who were you with?
Yeah, so I was so excited. So I drove home. I remember, there was like a draft party because there was a bunch of guys that were surefire first rounders. Like, and for me, like I was kind of one of those cusp guys where it's like I could be drafted in the second, maybe. If the right team, or like I was for sure going to be in the third round, but like I just didn't know. Like draft day is kind of one of those crazy things where
you don't know. You don't know.
Yeah,
I was told you're going to go in the top 5 rounds. I didn't get drafted till 12th round. Like you just don't know. They'll tell you something, and obviously you gotta hope. You're hoping.
Yeah, it's a very strange. It's like you have to be available to answer a phone call, and then. If the phone call doesn't come, then it's like, well, like as time kept going, it was really nerve wracking. And I was with my mom, my dad, my brother, my girlfriend at the time, who is now my wife. So she flew down because we were playing Florida State in super regionals, and she's like, hey, like I want to see you guys go to Omaha, like. Right. So and then now the draft is actually better because it's after the college season, so it's better timing.
Yeah, I was gonna say in the middle of the season.
Yeah, first time in history they pushed it back deep, so it's now in like July almost.
I think that's the right way to do it. Like right in the middle of college World Series or playoffs. Like that's tough, dude.
Yeah, it's So we were playing Florida State that week, and I think the draft was Wednesday night, and then I remember driving back Thursday morning, and I just after it happened, it was just straight euphoria. Like knowing I was going to just have a chance to be a big leaguer, that was like really gratifying because I can't stress how hard or how difficult college baseball can be, like with the time management, balancing like your obligations as a ball player. You got to be a student as well. Like I know like sometimes like it can be like, you're not a student athlete, you're an athlete student, because if you go to a big school, you got to ball, you got to win. But still, like both are equally as important.
Yep, 100%. So, what was the first purchase that you made? Because I mean, you put in so much work and effort, and then you finally get rewarded for it. And so, did you go buy a car, or what did you do with your signing bonus?
So one of the first, I mean, honestly, like it's not really that exciting. It was like put a down payment for like signed a lease on an apartment. So
that's great.
Yeah, my girlfriend at the time, now wife, like we moved in together. So Haley and I moved in together like right after school, and we've been that's all. So 2016, fall 2016, right after I got back from a short season, I signed a lease for so we can move in together.
Yeah, and then you're going through the minor league grind.
Yeah.
Right. And typically most guys that play in the minor leagues will hit some kind of wall. They'll hit some lull, some low point where they're just like, man, I don't know. Is this going to work out? Did you have that?
100%. So I was. So I broke my hand, I think the second game of the season in 2017. So that was my first full minor league season from spring training. That was 17. It was my first full spring training, and then I go straight to St. Lucie, which is high A at the time. Now there's a reconstruction of the leagues, but go to high A, 97 mile fastball, gets away from the pitcher, up and in, breaks my I think my fourth metacarpal. So I was out for 6-7 weeks, missed some time, and I was really like itching, ready to go, and I just didn't have my timing back fully and completely. I struggled. I think I went like 4 for 70 or something like that.
Ooh. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Do it.
Yeah, 4 for 70. That was
man, that's tough.
Yeah.
That's a tough stretch.
Yeah, I mean I was seeing the Florida State League, it's like a super velo league because I don't know what it is, but everyone's throwing 97 to 100 with absolute hammer breaking balls. I don't know what it is. It's just that's a
right. I remember going from low A. I actually jumped. I was fortunate enough to jump high A, but I remember going low A to double A, and the adjustment, the change from low A to double A, and the spin, their ability to spin, and then obviously velocity. It was such a big jump. I struggled a lot.
They're trying to figure out where that ball's going, throwing it that fast.
That's
level.
part of it.
And also too, a lot of the stuff wasn't in the zone. So like college, stuff really didn't bother me. I could handle stuff like around the plate in college, like one of the game plan, like I don't want to say every college coach is the same, but like every college coach, I mean, you can speak to this. It's like, hey, we're going to get ahead. We're going to attack. We need you to be around the zone, and we'll expand late, but we want to preach contact. We want every guy pitching to the 8th inning. Like now, like the game's super, like game's super strikeout heavy. Like, because before, I think when I was in college, I was on the tail end of like, hey, we're going to just attack, be around the zone, pour it in there, just
3-2, fastball in the strike zone.
Yeah, or if it's like, hey, like if you like if it's off speed pitch, it's in the zone. Yeah. Hey, we can't handle walks.
Right.
No walks.
Yeah, there's no walks. Now it's completely different.
Right. So and then getting into professional baseball, I wasn't used to like the guys with stuff not being around the zone, and I obviously chased. I'm like, what the hell? Like, it took me a really long time to make an adjustment. And Chad Kruder, who was my manager, played 15 years in the big leagues. Really, really knowledgeable guy. He really helped me, showed me a couple drills, and got me right. And I still do those drills to this day.
We had a question from the crowd along those lines. So while you're on those drills, we had a question from the crowd. AJ Lepla, what is your favorite go-to drill?
So there's two drills. So the first drill is a drill that I've done since I was 8 years old. He's actually a hitting coach here in Tampa. So his name's Devin Addison. He's one of my guys that's helped me throughout my career. He's awesome swing coach. So it's just point of contact drill. So you're swinging fully, but you're stopping the bat and stopping your body at the point of contact. But you have to be
with a real baseball coming in, and, and you like touch it and stop right there.
Yeah. So as soon as the bat and ball make contact, you're not just searching for contact. You're searching for the sweet spot.
And power position.
Yeah, in your power position at the point of contact, and then it builds. It builds forearm strength, but also the ultimate thing is connectivity. You're swinging, but without using your arms. We had a video I could show. Then also the other drill, what I really love to do is set the ball on the tee, stand up really, really tall, put the ball as high as the tee goes, and then hit the ball sideways. Stay inside and behind the baseball.
Right.
And really, like, you can't roll over, and if you do, it's gonna feel awful. But hit the ball as hard as you can, nice and crisp, directly to the side. So, like, let's say this microphone's the ball. I'm taking my swing super out in front, and I'm hitting it sideways that way.
Yep. Getting the ball as deep as possible. And then obviously as the ball works up, you really have to stay and work above the baseball.
Yeah. Match the plane of the baseball. I mean, that's a term that I really like to, because now, like, people throw. Yeah. I mean, they throw elevator
90, 97. Yeah.
Yeah, and then also too, you got those guys that throw sinkers from hell. You got people like the Blake Trinans and the Gratteralls of the world who have like or are just throwing. It's stupid, but again, like, you have to match the plane of the baseball. Where if you got a guy who's throwing ride, almost like you have to get on top of the baseball or swing above the baseball. Like Josh Hader, he's one of those guys that it's not just the deception, like when his hair flies out, like his like right. It's a tough release point because you got the hair and then the ball coming out of the same spot, and then the ball's just on you, and he's one of those guys that's really tough. But I mean, you just have to do whatever you can to see the ball, and then like know that the ball is going to be higher than what your eyes are telling you.
Right. It's deception. It's like an optical. I always say this about facing Mariano. It's like an optical illusion. You have to like expect, and you're looking for a ball in a certain space, and then you're swinging to the ball at where it's probably gonna be. Right along those lines.
Advice from a major leaguer is so important because we have a situation right now. You got 511,000 high school players. You got over 8 million travel ball players, right? You've played in the big leagues. You're played in the big leagues. We've played pro baseball. I mean, what kind of coaching you think most of those kids are getting with that high numbers, right? They're not getting. There can't possibly be that many qualified coaches. So, which is why we're inspired to do this. We want to really influence the positivity within the game. The game's been dying. We want this game going in the right direction.
For
and
sure.
I think that the proper coaching, it's what's important. And what better coaching than from guys that have done it, gone through the grind, or mastering it at a high level, and now we can inspire these young men.
Yeah, honestly, the best advice isn't necessarily stuff that I've heard. It's stuff that I've lived. I'm sure, Maddie, same with you, because like coaches can tell you things, they can help with things, but until you feel something in the box, like people can verbalize things, they can show you things, but every player is different, and every player has a different feel in the box or a different way of explaining things or feeling or understanding things. So I would say that be a sponge be a sponge and gather as much information as possible so you can make those adjustments on your own. And you have to be self-aware and honest and be your own best coach. Right. 'Cause I can say, hey, like, why am I doing this? And then you can say, oh, it's because of this. But in reality, if I'm not feeling what you're telling me and I can't make that adjustment, then we have to go back to the drawing board. So as much as hitting is a science, I think that the number one thing that players get, or youth players and guys in general, get lost in is hitting is an art form first. The science data points and the science of hitting and the mechanics are a product of each hit, each swing. Mm-hmm. All the data points are secondary, and the art comes first, and the data and the science comes second. Yeah. That's because if you're thinking about launch angle, exit velo, the ball's already past you. Or it's just see ball, hit ball.
Right. Keep it as simple as possible.
I don't even know if we're supposed to be jumping into the fire right now, but
no,
we're getting into that fire, baby.
Fire.
Woo!
You opened that can of
worms. Well, I feel like kids need coaching, so we want to be able to provide that for them, and I'm sure we're gonna get into that. As far as the launch angles and all of that. I'm a firm believer that, like what you just said, you're seeing, you're hitting, your body's reacting right to the baseball coming. If the pitch is down, then you're going to have to go and get, if the pitch is up, you're going to hear. But this whole concept of teaching only one way and swinging in a certain way, that's what you just said. I don't believe kids need to be being taught the same exact negative habit, right? They need to go out there, execute, and there's a right way of doing it, and there's some things that you might have to do sometimes, but it's not the only way.
For sure, absolutely.
So what's your take? I just posted something the other day of just talking about swing and
a
lot of the teacher man stuff where they're talking about dropping the barrel behind them, trying to get on plane and doing things this way. And for me, that just wasn't the way I learned. That wasn't how I was taught.
Right.
I was taught, hey, hit line drives, and obviously, going into a little bit more mechanics. So I just want to get your take on this. What do you got on this barrel drop behind you thing?
So granted, like every player drops the barrel. That's just science. Like for us, like you can't swing down. I think based on where our hands are and where the strike zone is, our hands have to go down. That's like a no shit statement. But honestly, the number one key that I use in my swing, am I balanced? That's my number one thing. If I'm not balanced, I'm going to get my doors blown off, or I'm going to chase. Mm-hmm. I think having a strong base, a firm base, not just like at the start and your load during the swing and in your finish. I think guys that do incredible job of staying balanced is so I think it's really special. Like obviously he was an MVP, but Acuna this year, like it didn't matter where he moved in the box, you could not move him off of his point. Like his feet were planted, picked it up like his front foot on his load. Like he got his once he got loaded, he picked his foot up and put it down basically in the same spot, and you wouldn't see him leaning out over the plate or leaning back. He was just so incredibly balanced and connected. For everybody out there, I'm sure you guys the feel, but connected is basically when everything is in sync and everything is happening like as it should.
And fluid.
Correct. Mm-hmm. Connectivity is being fluid. It's like everything goes almost as one, and the bat is an extension like of your arms. Like the bat is a part of you during the swing, so that's a part of the connection, and then also too, point of contact. That's another reason why I do the drill. If you don't hit the ball in the sweet spot, you're not going to hit it hard. And if you're chasing homers, you can't swing hard if you're not going to hit the ball in the sweet spot. Every home run is either on the sweet spot or near the sweet spot.
100%. Yeah.
One of the key
unless
things.
you're Barry Bonds, you're breaking bats and still hitting it out, which is ridiculous.
But for human beings.
Right. For normal human beings.
Yes.
It's funny because we talked about power a couple years ago, and I ended up we were playing the Mets, and obviously you're playing first base, and I drew a walk, and it was a while that I haven't hit a home run.
Right.
And I drew a walk, and I go down to first. I'm like, Pete, what do you got for me, man? Like give me something. Give me something. And like I just have, I'm trying to drive the baseball. Like how do you get where do you get power? And your answer was, and I still love this, was chocolate milk and squats.
Yes.
Chocolate milk and squats. And is that seriously? I was like, no, this guy's just blowing smoke up my butt here. Is that true or like?
So I mean, not.
There's some truth to that.
No, there's plenty of truth, because like being balanced, what do you need? You need your legs. Like what's like the most generic thing like you could do to have strong legs?
Yeah.
Squats.
Yep.
Yeah, and chocolate milk helps you recover and feel strong.
Right. Yeah. Little protein post recovery.
Darn right.
Yeah.
It's been proven chocolate milk. It helps you hydrate for some reason in a way where your vision is better and you're up and going. So it makes perfect sense.
And it's funny because literally I started doing that for the next like 4 or 5 days, and I was just crushing chocolate milk, and I was farting up a storm. Okay, everybody was like, "What's wrong with you?" I'm like, listen, man, Pete told me chocolate milk, and I started doing squats. My knees started hurting. I was doing squats like all the time, and I ended up taking Scherzer deep a couple days later, and I was like, I'm in, I'm sold, this works.
Three times Cy Young, and
That's it.
And he booked his ass.
Got him. Put him in the book.
Yes.
So I was hooked. You sold me on the chocolate milk and squats.
I mean, power. If you look at, any guy who hits a ton of homers, they're either strong or super quick, like in their legs. Like there's, like it doesn't matter like how they're strong. They could be wiry. So, good buddy, my teammate of mine, Kyle Tucker, super strong legs, super quick, but like I don't know how, but he is just so balanced and has just an incredible ability to be consistent of being in the same really good hitting position. I don't know how he does it. It's always been like that.
Do you feel like your power comes from your legs, like driving?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, definitely, I think that my power comes from my legs, for sure.
Who's your favorite hitting coach?
Professionally, or in the minors, or
I guess you can go into either. Obviously you told us a story about the college bat league, Wooded Bat League. So minor leagues, who helped you, and then maybe big leagues?
Yeah, Chad Kruder. He was the manager. Wasn't necessarily a hitting coach, but listening from him. Playing in the league for 15 years, he was super helpful. I think, it takes a village. For me, I've had a ton of hitting coaches in my big league career, in my minor league career, in my, there's guys who were, so Devrin, that's Devrin Addison. He's helped me a ton. Mike Friedline, not I wouldn't say a hitting coach, but he's coached me in travel ball, and he'll point out some things. I got to say, Chili Davis, he was my first big league hitting coach. He helped me out so much. Nice. And also, too, Eric Chavez, he was extremely helpful.
He was great.
Chavi he's phenomenal. And then Jeremy Barnes, J-Bone, who's our assistant hitting coach with the Mets. So it's like I've been really blessed to be around some excellent and knowledgeable hitting coaches, and also two players. Like I've been really blessed to have like great input with some guys. I think one of the guys that helped me out, I know it was Robbie Cano, like you said earlier. Yeah. Talking with him with hitting is like talking to, I don't know, like one of the guru, we called him the El Profesor, because he was just always helpful and
professor.
Like his not only his knowledge, but his perspective is when it came to hitting, it's unparalleled.
Yeah, he was fun to watch.
He's like the Yoda of hitting.
Stud.
Yeah,
he was a stud. His hands were lightning. It was crazy.
So if we were to simplify to our viewers out there, students we've coached, and the words that you have are incredible. You stabilize, balance, right? So balance. You're stabilizing. Now you're fixing your vision.
Yep. So
now you have balance, vision. Obviously, some hitters like Acuna you brought up pick up their leg, they put it down. In your case, you pick it kind of up and down, right?
Yeah.
But you get it down. You get that front foot down. Now you're stable. So your eyes are locked in on the baseball. Mm-hmm. Now, as the baseball's traveling, it slows the game down for you.
Yes, and
right?
a lot of people do talk about that. It's like, just slow the game down. how the fuck am I supposed to slow the game down? Like, can't just fucking say that.
Yeah.
Fucking how, damn it. But that's one of those points.
And a lot of guys don't know. That's why it's important. Oh, that's fantastic. And then the rest is mechanics. So it's all important that your mind is right, your vision is right, you're stable, you're balanced. Now the game is slowed down because of what you just did. Now it's mechanics. Now it's when we get to the meaty greedy here. This is where you either fuck it up by swinging straight up into the sky, or do you just, this is where you, how do I get that barrel to the baseball?
Yeah, and one of those things that that you're kind of talking about. So the one thing Chile really preached is see contact. So like instead of like wanting to see where the ball goes and like you just take your head out that last second, if you're telling yourself to see contact, you're just watching the ball make contact with the bat, you really keep yourself in a really good position long, even though you may not actually do it. But if you have that feel, your body's going to make that adjustment and stay through the ball just a tad bit longer.
Those kids are going to benefit from that, man.
I hope so.
Mm-hmm. What about approach-wise? I mean, obviously, really depending on who you're facing, like you said, if I'm facing somebody with four-seam ride, if I'm facing Garrett Cole, like I'm going to approach him a little bit differently. Something for me was like that self-talk, right? Of like you go through the low point and you really have to like force the positive self-talking. So I always wonder when you're on deck, like what are you looking for? What are you telling yourself? How are you getting prepared to go into that box and obviously, hopefully dominate?
So I want to get a ball I have my area. I mean, obviously it's dependent on pitcher stuff, but I pick an area where I want the ball to come from. So for me, like I see pitch shapes very, very well. So like it's when people say like, what the hell are you talking about? I don't necessarily see the spin of the ball that well. Some people say that they can see the spin like super well, but like if that's why tunneling is so effective on some of those guys.
By the time you pick it up, it's too late.
Right. And that's the deception. It's the tunneling, that's why guys are ripping breaking balls harder and throwing fastballs, because it stays on that same plane for so long. But for me, like I have a unique perspective where it's like I can recognize the tiny little hump on a hanger as opposed to like a ball down and away that's dotted. Or same thing with a fastball. Like I think that picking out my area and getting the ball to start in that kind of window where I want it to end up. So like for me, like I just want to blister a ball over the second baseman's head, and where they play me, the second baseman's like just to the right of the bag. So like basically just right center field and just hit a hard line drive the other way. And if I'm on time, I'm going to hit a fastball back up the middle, big part of the field. And then if I get flipped a breaking ball and it's in the zone, I'm going to pull it left center or left field.
Yep, exactly. Let it get there, have that time. And it's so important for these young guys, because obviously with them teaching that, hey, hit the ball on top of the cage, hey, hit the ball in the air, you can get away with it when you're young, right? And like when they're laying it in there and it's a little bit slower, obviously the plane of the ball is coming in a little bit more down, but as the speed elevates, I mean, the ball really starts to jump and ride.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'd like to switch gears a little bit. We have a question from the crowd. Jacob Weber said, kind of going back to the bad car crash that you had a couple years ago in spring training. Has that changed your point of view, your perspective on life? And has it changed, how you view the game and how you play the game?
It's not that I didn't appreciate it before, because like for me, I'm super thankful and appreciative of the opportunity to live out my fantasy of being a big league baseball player. I mean, it's more than a dream. Like it's a fantasy. Like everyone can have bad dreams. All dreams aren't good. Like for me, it's a fantasy, and it's so sick. And like I always appreciated it. Like because for me, like I was just like no one really projected like a right first baseman. Like I'm not fast.
Right.
Like I mean, I'm not like super. I have like I'd say a very average arm. Like I mean, like when like you go down like the list on a showcase, like does he run? Does he hit? Does he? And like it's like okay, but yeah, for me like my thing is like I had to perform, and it's not like I'm a switch hitting like guy who's 6'5", right. That can run a 6'4" 40, that can throw 98 miles an hour across the diamond. Like I mean, like I'm not like one of those guys. So it's for me, it's like you got to earn it. And for me, like I appreciated it. And then even more after that happened, I mean, anything can be taken away from us at the snap of a finger.
That's a perfect example.
Yeah, and it's like I definitely grew a quicker appreciation for, I mean, not just baseball, but everything, family, friends, my wife, my dogs. Like it's, and I was just trying to do my job and go to spring training. Like it just, okay, like, all right, time to go. And anything, I'm really very, very lucky to have walked out. Thank you, Ford, for making a sick truck that can protect me that way. Like I didn't after I rolled a couple times, like I'm like, okay, like it's weird. Like, okay, like, do I have my legs? Like, do my toes work? Like, it's like, okay, like, wow, like I'm here. Like, do I have anything? No, I'm like, it was just very surreal, like being in that moment and realizing like, yeah, I'm okay.
Right.
I'm okay.
This segment brought to you by Ford Trucks.
Yeah.
They're going to be calling for a sponsorship on it.
Yeah.
So we're all blessed to still have you, brother.
Thank you.
We're so happy, man.
We're
happy to have you here.
So I'm sure they'll, want to give you a call and say, hey.
Ford is sick. Yeah.
We got a truck coming for you. Just do a commercial for us.
Yes.
That's awesome. So going back to when you got called up, you just exploded on the scene. 53 home runs. You broke the rookie home run record that was just literally set by Judge a couple years earlier, right? Mm-hmm. And I mean, for me, obviously Tampa boy. I was playing for the Braves at the time, watching you, and it was so exciting to watch. Another Tampa guy have that success. But I was just wondering, I'm like, God, dude, like this guy, how big is the ball for this guy? Like, I feel like he's seeing a beach ball right now. It's not that easy to hit.
No.
And this guy is just absolutely crushing and dominating the league. Can you just tell us, like, what that feeling was like, and were you completely locked in?
I didn't want to go back to the minors. I was just like, I was possessed, and it's like, because I heard stories of guys like getting called up, balling out, and then like, hey, so and so is back healthy, so you got to go back down. Right. Hey, thanks, we really appreciate it. You'll be back up soon, but hey, enjoy. I think that time we were in Vegas still. Our AAA was in Vegas. So like, hey, and go enjoy Vegas. We'll see you in a month or two. So it's like I didn't want that to happen. I got the opportunity to make the big league team at a camp because a couple guys weren't healthy, which made it like a wide open door, which was unbelievable. We had, Frage was, I think he was like battling, I don't know, it was like a groin or an oblique or something, like, because he was supposed to be like kind of the either third or first baseman, and we had Jed Lowry as well. So like our roster was basically set going into camp, and I was like, okay, like I have to. I remember that camp in 2019. Jacob deGrom is going to throw against minor league hitters. I'm like, can I go hit? Can I go? I want to face Jake. Like, I did anything I could. I wanted to face Jake. I wanted to face Noah.
You want to face the best.
I want to face our horses, and granted, I hadn't seen a pitch in like 4 months, but I'm like, I don't care. I gotta see these guys. I gotta have good at bats. Like, I want to show that like I can hang with these guys. Jake didn't strike me out, but I didn't. No, it's like it was one of those sim things. I only had 5. I remember I had 5 pitches. 5 pitches, but it was 1-2, and I felt off. Like I felt like that guy from. Like David Spade from Benchwarmers, like I tipped it.
I made contact.
I tipped it.
Oh my God, it's hilarious. Yeah, he was tough, dude. I always tell everybody it was like him. He was like throwing a smaller ball. It was coming out of his hands. Everything was 98, 99. It was so smooth and fluid, but it was like, imagine shooting a golf ball out of a machine, and that's what it was like facing DeGrom. And the ball was just moving all over the place. Oh yeah, and sharp and short.
Yeah, and then that camp, I just like, hey, I'm gonna leave no doubt. Mm-hmm. I'm going to leave no doubt, and because like no one believes in me more than myself, I'm going to leave no doubt in everyone else's mind. I had a really sick camp. and I played great first base, like great first base, and then I just like I was like, okay, I'm gonna prove that I'm a big leaguer right now. Like I'm not called up. I may not be a big leaguer on paper yet, but I want to show everybody right now I am. And I did, and then I'm like, okay,
you belong.
I'm like, and then once I get called up, I'm like, all right, Max Scherzer, opening day, sick.
Yeah.
But at that point, it's like, all right, well, I can either be called up and enjoy a nice 4-week like stint in the big leagues, or I do something and do what I can to stay. And I want to be different. There's guys that could play first, and I wanted to be different so I could stay. And I just didn't want to go back. I just once I crossed over the other side, there's no going back.
Yeah.
Right. I love that. Do whatever it takes.
And then things start snowballing. Guys get back healthy. I don't get sent down. And then June happens, and then I like have a unbelievable series in LA, and then it's like, oh my God. Like, and then it's like,
what's happening?
By the
This is
break,
exciting,
by the
but
break,
good.
yeah, by the break, it's like, I think I had like 30 homers by the break. I'm like,
Yeah,
oh my
did.
God. Like,
yes, you did.
So it's like, it was almost like I was just so focused on like just being the best I could every day, best I could for my team, and like doing whatever I could, like fighting and clawing to stay.
Yep. Yeah, that's awesome. I love that mentality too, where you're just like, this has to happen. Like,
Yeah, there's no other way.
At that point, you're just like, I gotta just keep finding the barrel, and it'll keep working for me. Keep doing what I'm doing.
Yeah.
See the pitch good, put barrel on it, and those balls were just going.
Yeah.
So we got a question from the crowd. Davis Gorman, what accolade did you enjoy the most, right? Winning the Home Run Derby, World Baseball Classic, or the Rookie Home Run title?
Well, the World Baseball Classic, I mean, that was like being on a dream team of current ball players. That was insane. But unfortunately, we didn't get it done, and second sucks. Yeah. Like that's again, like that game was electric. And hopefully in 2026, I'll get an opportunity to play a little bit better and help the team and hopefully take home gold. But that's the standard. You play baseball for the United States. I mean, gold's the only standard.
We went to one of the games this past year, and it's just different, man. It was down in Miami, and the energy.
Was it the Venezuela game?
It was, yeah.
Oh my God,
it was slammed. The energy was off the charts.
I have never played in a baseball game like that. That was the most ridiculous game I've ever been a part of. Like that was. Like with the dome closed, like I've never like the Marlins Stadium.
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
it doesn't get like that.
But it was. I mean, there was national pride on both sides. I mean, that was the most intense game I think I've ever played in.
Yeah. So speaking of Home Run Derby, you actually have a charity coming up this Sunday.
Yeah. Can you
tell us about that?
Yeah, so it's a youth home run derby, so put on by the Alonso Foundation. My wife and I, we run our own 501c3. You can check us out at alonsofoundation.org. We specialize in providing funds and for different organizations. We love animals. So this year we're taking a huge step in providing services and transportation and getting dogs out of kill shelters across the U.S. and into loving homes, whether it be fostering or getting them into a different shelter there. Also, we've done a ton of stuff with veterans. We've provided funds for hurricane relief, especially in Southwest Florida and Puerto Rico, because the past couple hurricane seasons have been pretty nasty. We do a lot of stuff in New York, especially with 9/11 impacted families and victims, and basically like anywhere else where we just want to help.
That's great.
And we just want to create a huge positive impact. We've also sponsored a guide dog this past year. Name was Bear, for obvious reasons, but so we sponsored him. So he got trained and he was delivered to a veteran, disabled veteran in need. So that was
nice.
We just try and do the best we can. And also this event, it's going to be benefiting underprivileged youth, especially at Little Leagues that need a ton of help here in Tampa. Baseball, I mean, you lived here. Baseball is like woven into the fabric of the city. It's gone back for years. Like a lot of people, like if you're from Tampa, you grew up playing ball at some point. And for us, we want to be able to give back, whether it be fixing fields, giving clay, marmound, chalk, or providing like a even as silly as it is, like a lawnmower or something to tow the drag for the infields.
Right. Every little bit helps for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. And that's going to be this Sunday.
This Sunday, yes.
At Plant High School. Is it open to the public?
It is open to the public. Tickets are for sale at alonsofoundation.org.
Sweet.
And, Randy Rosarena is going to be there. Pepwa is going to be there, guy who just got traded over for Glasnow. Who else? Mr. Xavier Scruggs.
I'll be there.
Matty
X
Joyce
is going to be there. Awesome.
Yeah.
X is doing a great job.
Mr. Matty Joyce, you're going to be there. Thank you.
We'll be there, man. We're coming on. We'll help out.
And who else? I'm going to try and get Jack Caglione to come. Okay. So Jack Caglione is basically the college Shohei Ohtani. He went to Plant High School. He's in his junior year. He led the country in home runs last year, and also he throws 98 from the left side. So
what?
Sorry about it.
Yeah. So yeah, this dude is he's a stud. He is he's gonna I firmly believe he's gonna be the number 1 pick overall this year. Yeah. And if none of the scouts see that, then they're idiots.
Yeah. I'm sure he'll be okay. I'm sure he'll do fine. Yeah.
Yes.
There are some out there.
If he's got that kind of talent, that's awesome. We're looking forward to it, man. And obviously always looking forward to giving back and helping the community of where we come from. Mm-hmm. Along those lines, we did actually ask you to sign a ball for us. And we're going to be doing a giveaway to one of our subscribers and followers. So obviously, make sure that you're subscribing and following us on the IG page, Big League Podcast, and we'll be having one of Pete's balls that he signed sent out to you. So thank you for following. Thank you for watching us. I want to go back before we kind of wrap things up. I want to go back to the Home Run Derby and your experience in the Home Run Derby. Can you just kind of like tell us like what it's like in that environment? Because I was there. I never got to be in one. Right. I can imagine being in one, the pressure, everybody's on you, really looking at you to hit home runs, and then how sore you are the next day. I gotta know.
No, it's electric because at the end of the day, it's just BP. It's just batting practice, and it's just so fun. Like for me, like
it seems like you relish in it.
Oh yeah, I mean it's sick. Like it's just a fun event, and also like it's a great showcase because like what's the coolest thing in baseball? It's hitting homers. Yeah,
for sure.
And it's like you get to give people a chance to overdose on homers. It's awesome, and competing like in a it's like the dunk competition. It's like that's just like one of those really fun things that you just like grew up watching, and to be able to participate, it's a huge honor. It's been so fun so far, and winning it's electric, nothing short of electric. And I'm never sore the next day because it's just like there's just so much adrenaline, whether win or lose. Like it's just so much fun. And then also the next day, it's like you don't have time to be sore because it's the All-Star game. It's like that's something else equally as special.
Yeah. If you had to compete against anybody ever of all time, like home run derby, who would you want to compete with?
Man,
can I tell you mine?
Yeah,
got to be Griffey. Dude,
yes.
Griffey was the best. There's a sweet swing, the lefty. Like I tried to emulate that guy. He was so much fun to watch.
As a righty, would you want to go back to like those crazy days of Sammy Sosa, Mark McGwire, face one of those guys, or Canseco? Like who would you want to face?
I would definitely love to. I definitely would love to hit against Mark. That would be fun. Are we doing like a full field, or are we doing like just like an individual round?
I mean, I guess you versus someone else. Yeah. Yeah,
like hitting against Mark, that would be really special because Mark actually, me and him have a pretty good relationship. He's reaching out and be able to talk to him because I feel like me and him have very similar movements in our swing, and our game is pretty much identical. With responsibility and asks. Like It's really special to be able to have his perspective. I mean, and he's treating me super well, and we have very similar. I
love the
mechanics.
quietness you both have. There's a quiet aspect to the swing, right? There's always movements, but there's just a certain quietness that takes place, and I think it's a benefit as a hitter.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I think definitely. Yeah, Mark is up there, and So Keith Hernandez, he said, I am the modern day Harmon Killebrew.
Okay.
He told me that.
Stud.
Yeah, guys.
Tigers, right?
I think the Twins, maybe. Again, I don't know. He could have been with the Tigers, but I immediately he said that. I mean, me being like my age, I'm like, phew, right over my head.
I know, yeah.
I'm like, who the hell is that?
Yeah.
And then
it was funny. It's true too, because even like when I talked to you, I saw Pete pretty recently, a few weeks ago, and saw him, and I just kind of say, hey, what's up going on? And I didn't really even think that he would kind of remember these next generation. You don't know if they're gonna know who you are. You know what I mean? You're like these young kids coming up. I don't know if he's gonna know me. So he ended up obviously being in Tampa, recognized and remember me from Tampa. So that meant a lot.
Yeah.
So that was cool.
Yeah. So I saw Maddie. We saw Maddie out, and I'm like, oh my god. So like, because what years were you at the Rays? You were Ray for
09 to 14.
So, not trying to make you feel old. So 09 was my. That was the
He's
fall.
Old, though.
That was the fall of my freshman year of high school.
Okay.
So I was a freshman, and then you stopped when I was a freshman in college. So like, for my high school and college years, I was like, I mean, for me, like being from Tampa, I have to root for the Rays.
Yeah.
Have to. Have to.
Yeah, you have to.
Yes.
Absolutely. 100%. I love that. That's awesome, man. So let's have a little bit of fun. I want to do like off the wall. Okay, some off the wall questions for you. Okay. If you had one ballpark snack to eat for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Seeds, for sure.
Seeds.
Yeah.
Yeah? Salted or unsalted?
Ranch?
Neither.
Ranch? Barbecue?
My fat ass.
Oh, barbecue, yeah. Barbecue seeds.
Barbecue seeds. Love
Yes.
that. And that's sponsored by Davidoff.
I like those. What else you got back there?
All right. What's your favorite go-to karaoke song? What do you know about karaoke?
I can throw down a song or two.
Oh man, Colt 45 by Afro Man. Yeah.
I surprised a lot of people because I get up there and they don't realize I'm about to hit them with like a Snoop Dogg gin and juice.
Oh.
So everybody's you see them just kind of go like, what?
And also Fat Bottom Girls by Queen is a really good one.
Okay.
I can't sing worth a hell.
Was this something you sang on the bus?
No, so I can do Colt 45 really well. We had a show dinner, we had a show dinner in Baltimore this year, right after the trade deadline. It was really cool because we got to me and a couple of the other guys, veteran guys. We basically got everybody out. Outside of the it's really hard because everyone's got like families and this and that, but everyone in Baltimore, we went to a steakhouse, and then there was a stage, and then the mic was on, and it wasn't really like a karaoke night. It was just like dinner, and then like after a few bottles of wine, and there's like someone went up on the stage, and then eventually it turns into like everybody had to go up on the stage and sing something, and I sang Colt 45.
That's great.
Oh yeah,
I love that. That's awesome.
A cappella, or there was some music? I'm assuming there was a little music going, right?
No, it wasn't a cappella. It was people were playing it on the phones like next to the mic and stuff like that. But it's funny.
All right. What's the most bizarre thing you've ever autographed?
Most bizarre thing. So it was a baby. It was a baby shirt, but the baby was wearing the shirt, and like that one scene from Talladega Nights where Ricky Bobby's like, "Oh my God, sign my baby." He's like, "Okay," but like I felt like I didn't sign the baby's forehead.